you know all the words, all the other words.
That's exactly how it goes.
Wait, do we have audio? We good, Jay?
Yeah.
All right. Wait.
But I need to charge that.
Okay. Takes away.
Dancing girl right here.
I gotta dance. That's how I pump myself up.
All right.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Let's Make Art. Today we are painting.
She is pumped.
See? If I dance while I do it, I'm like, so good. Okay. We're doing these orange blossoms today. They're lovely. They're colorful. So many different things going on. That's what we're doing today. Let's. I'm breathing.
We've all had that
How's everybody doing? We good? We good? That's a good mile. That's a good mile. Okay.
I think we've all had that day. But it's getting better. Every moment's getting better.
Yes, it is, because we're about to paint.
That's right.
My favorite part of the day. Okay, we're going to introduce people.
Jake?
I'm here. I'll run in.
He'll run in. Okay.
Running.
We have
wants to
Al
make an
doing
entrance.
camera work.
Hey!
Hey.
They didn't know which one was Al.
They didn't, I know.
That's Al
It's
right
me.
there.
Al.
Jenny's painting with
Mama
us
Dome.
today. We have Erica who's painting with us today,
Hey!
first time. Yeah. And Misty's painting. She's back. We're excited to have
Third
her.
time.
And Jake's doing camera like always.
Are you part of the Walker crew whenever they paint all together? Are they all going to be watching and like?
But they're watching.
This
This is
I don't-
this is either going to get her in. You're either going to be in or not.
This
So
is like
what's gonna
trial.
determine it all. Pretty soon they'll be like, what?
Okay.
They never knew you were painting all the time behind the scenes. Like,
That's right.
You do this
secret.
secret.
So you could like slip right in there and just show them up.
But it's not a competition.
Right.
Misty.
Not at all. Not at all.
Which
Speaking
leads
of,
us.
so,
Whoa.
Speaking of that, no, I'm just kidding. Let's do our oath before we start. We do an oath.
Okay.
This is very serious business.
Okay.
Okay.
Everybody take a knife.
So don't do that.
Slice.
You have to get it. You have to sharpen a paintbrush,
Raise both
actually.
hands.
Brothers to brothers.
Okay. Raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I promise to be kind to myself.
I promise to be kind to myself.
I promise to have fun.
I
Promise to have fun.
And I promise not to compare.
And I
promise not to compare.
And I'll try not to compare.
Good job. Good job. Okay. For our supplies that we are painting with today, we got 4 colors. We are using olive green as our greens, and then we're going to use golden brown and turquoise blue to mix in to change the colors of our greens as we go. My turquoise blue bottle is leaking, so it's over far away.
Yes,
But
you'll see it.
as you can
It's
see,
right here.
yeah.
See?
It's right here. And then orange for our oranges. And
Just straight up orange.
that is just straight orange.
Orange. That's right.
That's all it is, orange. Okay, let's start with our warm-ups. So grab a brush, any brush. I usually like to do the bigger ones with my warm-ups. So
number 6.
yeah, we're using, for the project, I used a 6. And here also we're going to use round 4s because I have a lot of those. So that's what we use too. But either or, whatever you have. I also have a 10 here that we can play with if you guys want to try a really big brush. Sometimes it's fun to do big brushes. And we are going to start off by getting our paintbrush wet. Now when you first get your paintbrush wet, you get it wet and then you kind of like, I usually hit it off the side so then it's not totally dripping. And then I'm going to pick up some paint. And the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to play with thick and thin lines. Okay. So the wonderful thing about round brushes is you can do a thick to thin line in the same stroke. So you can, let me make sure this, yep. So you can go thin if you have light pressure. And then the more you press down, the thicker your brush stroke is going to get. So I want you to play with doing, yep. And then push down. And when it gets rough like that, that just means you need a little bit more water on your brush. Yep, perfect. Yep, try and do thin to thick. And then you don't even have to go like up and down. If you want to go like across your paper, you can. Just whatever. Try and see how thin you can go and how thick you can go. Because this is how we do our leaves a lot of the time, is we start off narrow and then we press hard for the side and then narrow it off at the top again. Very nice.
Keep running out.
Yeah, I run out too. It's not a, you just got to keep going. And you can even play with like how much water is on your brush. So let's say like I'm just gonna pick up some paint and then I'm gonna dip my paintbrush in the water and just leave that. And usually when you do that, you can get a lot of like a really thick stroke because there's so much water in your brush. But when you do it that way, you usually can't get a super fine line because of the amount of water in your brush.
Do paint and then water?
Yeah. Just to try it so you guys can see how thick your...
Because she's a little wild.
Because I'm crazy. I like to try new things. Okay, and then the next thing I want you to practice, and if you want to use your 2 for this, you're welcome to use your 2, but try and get really thin, long lines. So you can do this with your 4 or your 6, or even your 10, because all round brushes go up to a point. So you should still be able to get a narrow line. But if it's a little bit harder, then you can use if you have a liner, you can use a liner, or I used a 2. So this was with my 4. I was able to get some pretty thin lines. And to get a thin line, you just do really light pressure. Like you can see that sometimes I actually even like miss the page a little bit. That's how much I'm barely touching my paintbrush to the paper. And yeah, perfect. And you're using your arm to move, which is excellent.
Oh, okay.
You're doing great.
She's a natural.
So when you rest your arm and your hand down and you try and do a thin line, then you're restricted in how long that line can go. But when you lift your arm off the paper and use your whole arm to do the line, then it can go as long as you want. Like that. You can go even all the way across your paper. But if you rest your arm, then you're restricted. And then it usually actually tends to curve too. So now when we do our stems for our leaves and our oranges, we're going to be using these thin lines. That's why we're practicing that.
Practicing our thinness.
Yeah, our soft, delicate lines. Perfect. Okay, and the next thing we're going to practice is our value change. We always do this one, and we always do this one because we literally use this in like every single painting. Okay? Deal? Sound good? Okay. So you're just going to get your brush wet and then get a lot of paint on your brush. When you have a lot of paint on your brush, then that color is going to be deep. It's going to be strong. You're going to start off with a lot of paint, putting that down, and then you're going to rinse your brush totally. And you're going to start off where your line left off, and you're just going to take that paint and smear it across. So the goal is to have a dark to medium to light. Now, I have a dark to light right now. I could even go one more. I rinsed my brush again, and I'm going to go one more time to get that color that's like barely there. Yeah, so I would rinse your brush, and you can do that one more time to get a really light color.
I kind of drew all over my paper, so I don't have much room here.
That's okay. I have extra paper too, if you guys. We were having so much fun with those lines. That's okay. You can go across it. You can go.
I've got a little light to dark down here, and I got a big one that ran right through my green. So I'm pretty sure this is fabulous light to dark right here.
It is fabulous. Good job complimenting yourself. That is excellent.
Hey.
It's hard to do that.
Part of the oath. Right?
I'm not being sarcastic. It's hard to do that sometimes when you're looking at your work.
As soon as my boys realize what you've just said and what I've said, they're going to make fun of me.
They would never do that.
Took an oath. Took an oath.
Okay, so you can do that as many times as you feel comfortable. I just want to show you guys something really quick, because with oranges, So do you guys know the difference between a shape and a form?
No. Tell us.
I'll tell you. Okay, so a shape is two-dimensional, which means it's flat, right? It's just like flat like a piece of paper. A form is three-dimensional, so it has like shading and value, which is actually how we make our oranges look three-dimensional, is with value. So if I were to do an orange and I were just to do an even wash orange here, you're like, oh, that's a cute little circle. That's a circle. But if you add a little bit of dark and light to that circle, it then becomes a form instead of just something flat on the page. So if we do our orange, and then we have kind of like a highlight at the top.
Highlight just means lighter.
Highlight just means lighter, lighter in value. And then if we do like a little shadow at the bottom by adding some other dark. And this is just really basic. We're not going in and doing like all of the deep, like, because lighting and shadowing is pretty. But like,
No, that looks good.
but even just this by
It's
itself.
a little cutie. It's a little cutie.
Yeah, it's a little cutie orange. But even by itself, this already is looking more like something that has roundness to it than this, which looks totally flat. So when we do our oranges, keep that in mind. We're not just going to do a flat, even wash with no dark to light change. We want our oranges to have a light to dark on them. Okay?
All right.
All right. Well, let's get started then.
Let's make some more.
Let's make some art.
You guys like art? You like art?
You guys ready?
Yes.
Carrie Stubb says hello.
Stubby?
Stubby, yeah.
Carrie, hello.
And Christine Patton, just
Oh, Christine, hello.
who's our super fan.
She is. She's been there since the beginning.
Judy doesn't have orange, so she's mixing daffodil yellow and moss rose.
Perfect.
Oh, awesome.
Perfect, Judy. Yeah, if you guys don't have orange, orange is not a primary color, which means you can mix to paint it. Usually red and yellow or pink and yellow can get a different version, but excellent, excellent, excellent. Okay, so we're gonna start off with our leaves when we do this. And when you use your paper, there's two sides to it. There's a smooth side and a rougher side.
You know, if Judy had gotten the kit, she would have had the little bottle of orange.
That's true.
I'm
Judy,
just teasing Judy because I know Judy.
but she is one of our newest subscribers, so if you want all of the paints and all the supplies for this project, you can just subscribe to our monthly box and you would have those mailed to you and you wouldn't have to worry about it.
Very cool, very cool.
Okay, so with our leaves here, I'm gonna get some green, and this is where you guys have creative freedom, okay? Maybe you like more yellow leaves, then you're gonna mix some golden brown in there. You know, see how that makes like a lighter olivey green? This is just like totally green, and then if you mix blue in there, it becomes like,
Oh, I was wondering why there was blue.
yeah. So that's how we get these really fun colors like here and here and here, is we drop some blue in there. So you get some cool color change. Okay, so I like to start off with mixing a little bit of yellow in. And then we're gonna start with our leaves and then we add our oranges as we go. So for our first leaf here, we're gonna start in this top right corner and then we're gonna kind of just like go around. Okay. So I'm gonna do my first leaf, and you can do one of two things. You can like outline your leaf, which some of these leaves are pretty big, so you might have to do that anyway.
Now, can I ask you a question before
Sure.
you start? Because why wouldn't you put the oranges in and draw the leaves around them?
I like to put my leaves first because we want it to look like there's different layers. So you know how leaves go in front of oranges sometimes? Mm-hmm. We want to keep that look, and so we draw our leaves first, and then we paint our oranges behind the leaves.
I would be afraid I'd have so many leaves I'd run out of room for my oranges. So.
There will be room for oranges. There will be room. But yeah, I'll bring this up so you guys can see overhead. See how there's leaves kind of over on all of these pretty much? There's leaves coming up over them because that's just how we more likely see the oranges in real life. That's why we do our leaves first and then we paint our oranges around our leaf. Awesome. But if you want to do You can try and do your orange first, but what would then happen is you would just have to wait for your orange to be totally dry and then do the green on top. And then even still, it might bleed a little, which is fine. There's some bleeding in mine, so that's not a huge deal.
I just wondered. No, we're happy to do
No,
it
it's a
this
great
way.
question. Great question. Okay, so for my leaf, since this is a pretty big guy, I'm going to start probably like a third of my paper over, and I'm going to do a nice big leaf. And I'm outlining this one, and then I'm just going to fill it in here. And don't stress out about placement too much. Just try and follow along as best as you can. All of ours are going to be different from each other, and that's okay.
Part of the fun.
It is part of the fun.
And then what? Just fill it in?
Just fill it in. And if you need to grab a little bit more paint to fill it in, you totally can. And then what I like to do after I put my first leaf down is then I like to do my stem.
Hey, which brush again?
So you can use, for this, when I painted this, I used a 6 round. So we're using 6 rounds up here, and I'm also using a 4 round just because I ran out of 6s. So whatever you have at home, that would work. And then I like to do my stem after I do my first leaf. I'm going to have it kind of coming out and up, and I want to make sure it's a nice thin stem. So I'm going to just do my stem nice and thin, like that.
If I go up this way.
You can still, because your orange is going to come out down here, so
Oh,
it's
okay.
still going to make sense if your stem comes this way. Yeah.
Nice, like a
That's
music
okay.
note. It's like a little golf club.
Don't stress. It's okay. All of these are going to have different placements. Even these two are going to look different because this is done on a smaller scale. So the dimensions of the papers are slightly different. So mine's going to look a little bit different than this too. So embrace it. You know what I mean? Okay. And then now I'm going to put in my orange. So I'm going to grab my orange, and I usually just do like a soft, like the bottom first, because that's going to be my darkest part. And I'm going to do something similar to how we did our warm up. So I put in my dark layer first, and then I rinse my brush, and I just spread that around towards the top. So already I have a value shift on my orange.
But you're not touching the leaf yet.
Exactly. I'm not touching the leaf. You can make your orange bigger or smaller. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid, Misty. It's just paint.
I know.
So my orange didn't touch my leaf. That's okay. I'll just do another leaf kind of coming off on top of it like this. I'll do another leaf right here when that dries. So you can either make your orange bigger to touch that stem. I'm gonna make mine a little bit bigger. Yep, very nice.
Oh, jeez. Mine is not round anymore.
You just keep going till it gets round. If it gets bigger, that's fine. And then I'm going to, and we're going to do a little bit of a color mixing lesson in this. So we have brown, so you can use this golden brown as a shadow on your orange, or another thing that you can use is black, but I purposely didn't put black in here because I wanted to show you that you can mix your own dark color if you don't have black. So I'm going to take some orange and a little bit of blue, and you just keep mixing it till you get like a brown color. Because these two colors, blue and orange, those are complementary colors. So when you mix them together, you get brown. If you mix green and red together, that's going to turn brown. Purple and yellow, that's going to turn brown.
Saying brown is a compliment.
So, well, brown isn't the complement. The opposite color on the color wheel is the complement.
When you get brown, you know you got something special.
But when you get brown, that's good. And the reason why sometimes this is nice is when you add black to something, it adds like a gray color to it. And sometimes you don't want to put like grayish on anything. So you would just have to keep mixing till you get
Darker.
orange. So if you mix it and it turns green, Just keep adding orange to that.
What if my orange is turning green?
If your orange is turning green, it could just be from the paint water.
My paint.
Yeah. So,
It's just not ripe yet.
yeah, it'll just be a little bit on the unripe side. So I'm gonna add this like greenish brown that I made by mixing these colors to the bottom of my orange. And to make this kind of shadow on it. And it's just gonna be on the bottom part, and then I'm gonna add some water and kind of blend it out so it's not like a hard line. But we're gonna leave this original wash that I made when I added the water up here. I'm not gonna touch that because I want that to be my lightest part on my orange. Yep.
So you just put a little brown.
So what I would do for yours, since yours has more of a green hint to it, is I'm just gonna do another,
Darker orange.
like another orange on top, just so we know it's like an orange. And then I'm not gonna touch this up here. And then you can do like a brown down here for your shadow. Yep.
Everything is green for me.
So if you're having problems mixing the color, you can just use golden brown too. If you want to just use, if you're mixing it and you're just not getting the colors right and it's still looking too much of one color, then you can just use your golden brown as a shadow. Don't be afraid to do that either. I just wanted to teach y'all that you can mix different colors if you want. If you want them. And I'm actually going to add a little bit more orange to mine to make it nice and bright, kind of in the middle. So I'm still not really touching my shadow, and I'm not touching my highlight at the top, kind of right in that middle part. I'm just going to add a little bit more orange.
Is my highlight too?
I think your highlight looks great. I would do even more orange down here. Now, if your orange is getting so wet that the shadow isn't staying and it's just kind of being messy, let that dry a bit before you try and mess with it too much. Mm-hmm. This is the game of watercolor, you know? It's a give and a take. Okay. So, while that's drying, I'm going to do my other leaves. So I'm going to start here, and this is where you kind of have to use your imagination, right? Because I'm going to do a leaf that's going to come behind my orange. So I'm doing a nice little thin stem out, and then it's going to come here. And then I have to, like, even if you have to lift your brush up, you can do that. But I'm not going to go through my orange because my orange is too wet. It would just bleed. So I'm just going to lift my brush up, continue this line down here, and then I'm going to do the other side like that. So you kind of just have to imagine that, what that line looks like going through behind that orange. Yeah, very nice. Mm-hmm. Yeah, very nice.
Go ahead and fill that in.
Yep, and then go ahead and fill that in and leave a little thin white space between the orange and the leaf because it's all too wet now and it will bleed together if they touch. Very nice, Misty. And then for fun, what I like to do with watercolor, this is the fun part with watercolor, is after I color in my leaf, I just drop in a drop of clean water and just let that spread, and that's how you get this cool texture.
Can we watch?
Can you watch?
Closer.
Oh yeah, you can watch closer.
watching
I'm like, I just did it. You were watching. And another thing I like to do too on my leaf is I like to make sure my leaves have a nice point to them. And sometimes when I do an outline, I don't get a nice point. You can always go back and point those leaves out. You can go on top if you want.
My eyes are watering.
So how do I get my leaves to like not look like
I've done this motion.
Okay, so for yours, what's happening is you're just using a little bit more water. So you just have to do kind of more
I
paint
think I'm
on your
scared to
brush.
kind of like get
Oh,
on the
girl,
paint.
you gotta just like go for it. You know what I mean? Just
Yeah.
lay that down. Because then you get this nice rich color. And then that itself is going to even out because you have a good amount of water and pigment on that. And then you're just going to
See, that looks awesome.
drop that in.
So does he-
And that's how you get these really cool textures like that. And those, you just let go. If you go back and forth on those, then you're going to lose those like...
So can I go back?
I'm
and
a
do
little
that on
concerned about my harshness
Of your stem.
of my leaf to my stem.
Okay, what we're going to do on Jenny's here, which mine is pretty similar. We have that, we are going to do another leaf right here
When it dries a little bit.
when it dries,
Okay.
and that's how this leaf is going to make sense.
Okay. Perfect.
So don't stress about that.
I won't stress yet.
Okay. And then we're going to do a couple bunches of leaves over here. And for this, I'm going to mix a little bit more of my golden brown. And I'm just going to draw out my leaf. Kind of, you can have it going more to the side if you want, like going in a little bit more. But I'm not stressing. That's going straight down. And if you don't have a ton of room, that's okay. You're just going to kind of look at your paper, and if you want your leaves to kind of go to the edge, that's fine. Don't try and like make all of a sudden these really tiny leaves if it doesn't make sense. You know what I'm saying? So I would even have this like
overlap.
I would have it either overlap or go off to the side.
I'll do that.
And then while this is still wet, I'm just going to paint another leaf right behind it. Now they are going to bleed together. I like that because it's going to be some interesting colors. So I'm just using straight olive green on this, and like right next to it, I'm going to do another leaf kind of going out. Just like that. And then I'm going to just put in some water droplets.
You just straight up like.
Yep, that's straight up what you do. Yep. And if you want them bigger, then you would do like,
One near it.
yeah, leave it, or you can like mess with it a little bit, but. They're looking so good already. Are you guys happy so far? Yes? Yes? That was funny. Okay. Now, my orange is still too wet, so I'm not going to do that leaf on the top of it. I am going to make a little stem to connect it, though, so I'm just going to like, just a little guy right there. And then we're going to do this leaf up here near the top. Very nice.
Go ahead. No, I almost said something critical about mine, and then I stopped myself.
Good.
I stopped.
Good. That's what we want. Okay, so for this leaf, what we're going to do is we're just going to kind of do what we did in the warm-up, which is the thin to thick, because we're kind of doing the side of the leaf. You know how leaves kind of curve? And you can see like the inside and the outside at the same time. That's essentially what we're doing with this leaf. So I'm going to do my like thin to thick line like that. And if you can also use a test paper if you need to practice like a thin line before you put it down. And then what we do to get, so like this is kind of like the outside side of the leaf. And then I just rinse my brush. And using a light wash, I'm going to do the other side of the leaf. So I want it to be lighter. And it might bleed a little bit. That's okay. I really embrace the bleeds on this project because I think they're fun. Yep, that looks very nice. And even if you want to darken this bottom one a little bit, you can.
You just washed like right over it?
So I like, let me do it on this. So I did my thin to thick line, and then I didn't go over it. I just went like next to it.
Okay.
In a lighter wash.
And just let it bleed a little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah. And you can even go back once this dries, and if you want that edge to be nice and dark, you can do another layer on top. But for now, we're just letting it go. And because this is a bigger sheet of paper, I'm going to add another leaf kind of like coming up right here. So just, and this one is just going to be a regular leaf that I kind of drew out. And then for fun, I'm going to drop in some blue on this one. So instead of dropping in water, I'm taking my turquoise blue, and I'm just kind of dropping that in.
I'm getting a little too excited with the curviness.
That's okay. You're doing some nice big leaves. Orange leaves are big like that though. Have you know those orange leaves, how they're like big and waxy?
Easy, California.
I'm just saying, in California, no.
When we lived in California, we had a giant orange tree that grew on our patio.
Mm-hmm.
And oh my gosh, I mean, the oranges were, oh, they were just so good.
Yeah.
And they grew at Christmas time.
Yeah, they were ripe at Christmas time. We always had that was our tradition. We had a big bowl of oranges on the table at Christmas time.
That's a tradition. My mom always puts an orange in our Christmas stocking at Christmas time.
Ours is cold.
Hey,
I
be
think-
thankful.
I
You
think
be
that means
thankful.
something. I can't remember.
Warmth and love is what she said. Because you burn it to stay warm.
Okay. Now I'm touching my orange. I think it's dry enough. Actually, I'm going to wait a second. Nope, we're going to go back. Okay. Now we're going to do our little flower. Now the thing with orange flowers, like the flowers before they turn into oranges, is they're white. And white is a difficult color to do with watercolor because we paint on a white background. So to portray white flowers, you usually do like a slight yellow or a really slight green or like a really slight gray. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab a little bit of this golden brown, like so it's barely there. I just want to get like this, like you can maybe even just use your straight paint water if you want, because this color is just supposed to be barely there, and you just do this like curved flower shape here. So I'm going to do a petal shape, which is narrow at the bottom and then it goes thick on top, and I just do like 3 of those. This is like how you did flowers when you were little, that kind of thing. So it's like barely there flower.
Okay, what would you do if there's not a lot of space between your leaves?
That's what I was gonna say. I got carried away.
No,
with
that's
the
fine.
leaves.
Then
They're
don't put a
beautiful.
flower. Don't put a flower on this one.
Oh, okay.
Just in your next time you can do. This is a very free project, okay?
So same. I'll just skip the flower.
Yeah, just skip the flower if you don't have room for it on yours. Not a big deal. And then I'm just doing a little touch of golden brown at the very tip of this flower here. So it has like almost a yellow bloominess to it.
Bloominess.
Bloominess, you know.
I like the yellow bloominess.
We'll do a checkup on them.
Yeah.
You're checking in at the time that we like can't do the thing. We're supposed to do.
I could check on another
that
thing.
flower?
Yeah, after you do your flower, you're going to do a tiny, tiny little stem connecting to your big stem, and then a tiny, tiny little leaf off the side of that flower.
So cute.
Let's see Misty's tiny flower.
There's no flower.
She's going to do it on the next stem.
I didn't get a flower.
Okay, so here's Misty's.
For a little bit.
I love her leaves. Her orange looks really great. Like, see how there's this highlight? So this is your light value, your medium value, and your dark value. Doesn't that orange almost look like you can come and grab it? Like,
this.
I know. And if you were to take that up and hold it away, it would be that same effect of just stepping back from it for a second. I think your leaves look really great. I would maybe have another leaf coming up over here because this is just looking a little bit, yeah. So maybe going up that way.
Awesome.
but it's looking good. Okay, so for Erica here, I love how big her leaves are. That's really great. The same thing for her orange. We have a shadow here, we have our medium color and our highlight, which is exactly what we want. If anything,
my water spots are real.
okay, if you don't like your water spots, that's fine. All you have to do is get like a damp brush, and you're just gonna blend them out.
Okay.
She might have liked those.
Just like that. No, I didn't.
I almost had a freak out. I'm like, oh my gosh, what if she was saying those were her favorite thing about painting?
Nope.
No, you just blend those out.
Oh, okay.
And that's it. And then you can always, like, maybe on this leaf, because you see how on this you have some nice dark color, maybe add a little bit more dark on, like, even just on the edge here. It doesn't even have to be on the whole thing, but just somewhere on this
This
leaf.
one doesn't have as much
Yeah.
texture.
Yeah, but besides that, it's looking really good. And then on your next stem or the one after that, you can do a little flower.
Perfect.
Okay, let's look at Jenny's here. Beautiful. Okay. So her orange is nice and big. That's looking good. I like her highlight. Maybe blend this out a little bit so it's not such a strong line right here.
Okay.
But your leaves are really looking good. I like the drop of blue right here, and this flower is nice with this little yellow, touch of yellow.
Okay.
So that's looking
Are
really
these
good.
leaves and stem okay?
Yeah, I think they're looking good. Maybe next time what I would do is do a leaf that's similar to the, because we want the leaf to look like it's just a baby one of these leaves. Does that make sense?
Try that.
So,
Make it look like a baby.
so I'm just gonna like round this off a little bit more. So it's like,
Oh, okay, okay. I see what you're doing.
you see what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then even if you want to do another baby leaf right here, you can too. But basically, we just want it to seem like it's still part of this same
Okay.
plant.
Perfect. All right. I'll do another baby leaf over here. Oops. I always worry about that water on my brush.
That's a really pretty color you got right here on the edge of your leaf too. Yeah. Very nice. Okay. And now we're going to do the leaf. So it's up to you if you want your leaf to go behind your orange or on top of it, whatever you feel. So if you really like what's going on with your orange and you don't want to like cover anything up, then you can have the leaf go up and behind, kind of like how I did on this one. This leaf is going behind the orange. For me, I'm going to have mine go on top. Oh, sorry. So on this one, the leaf, you can see it's going behind the orange. But I want my leaf to go on top of my orange. I think just how I did my stem, it would look nice. But I think I would have yours go on top too. But you guys can do either or, whatever you prefer. And then I'm just going to do a leaf right on top of my orange like that. And it's going to meet right where I did my stem. And then I just blend it. Fill it in.
Like that?
Beautiful, yeah. And then I would do a darker wash to cover the orange that's going through there. So try and do a dark enough wash of this leaf so you might still be able to see the orange a little bit, but we don't want to be able to see our orange a ton. So try and do a darker wash to cover that orange up. And then I'm going to go back and fill in the white line that I left around this leaf in the orange when I did that one. Because now my orange is dry enough that it won't bleed. Yep, very nice.
How do you kind of, I mean, like this, you can definitely tell, like,
So
gotta
when
fill that in.
yeah, so you just kind of have to like mess with the whole thing and like darken like the top so it like becomes one part. Does that make sense?
Yep.
And then you can just blend this out. You just have to play with it a little bit. Okay, let's move on to our next stem. Yeah, these are looking so good. I love your guys' leaves. They're so pretty. Okay, they're just my favorite thing to paint right now. Okay.
Erica also gets oranges in her Christmas stocking.
Oh, you do?
Oh, I do.
No, not you, Erica.
Oh.
I thought
Erica's
I was just like,
No,
Erica, why didn't you say that?
on the bottom. Grapefruit, that's fun.
Both.
Wait,
Because, you
can
know,
you grow
they
them?
fill out the
Yeah.
toe
Sure.
part.
You're
Yeah,
from South
we do.
Carolina, right?
North, yes.
North Carolina. I'm sorry. Can you grow them there? Are you in that zone?
I don't think so.
Asking the hard questions, Al. It's like the same thing, really. Walmart, it's the same. Okay, so we're gonna do our next stem down here, this little section. So I'm gonna start with my leaves, and then I put in my orange. So these leaves, I'm gonna have it go up a little bit closer to this, and I'm gonna have it go this angle, my leaves. So they're gonna go like that. Let me do my first leaf here.
So a 79-degree angle from the
That is exactly a 78-degree angle, actually. Thank you. No, that's not. That's
Like 72.
72. Who has a?
when engineers paint.
Is it a protractor? Is that what you use
I
to
think
measure?
so.
I am so proud of myself if that's right.
I think
That
that's
is
right.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. And then I'm just going to drop in some water for some cool texture. It's not right?
No, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Whoa, sorry. And then I'm going to do a leaf right next to it, and I'm still going to do it while it's wet. It's going to be kind of going down a little bit more, but it's going to meet where this one meets. So it's going to go like that. And you can have them overlap. Mine didn't reach that far without it making it huge, so there's a space in between. I'm going to give us a little bit more green. You guys seem to be doing okay.
So just kind of by the.
Yeah, kind of going, if the angle were to go down a little bit more, that's the next leaf that's coming out. But it's still going to meet pretty close to where the bottom, to where the bottom of your stem was. And now I'm going to do my stem.
I'm going to run out of room. Me too.
That's okay.
All right.
You started off big, that's fine. We'll just work around it.
All right.
Don't stress about it. Which is, I feel like the beauty of this project, because when I started painting this, it wasn't like this has to go here, this has to go here. You just kind of figure out where things fit as you go. And then that's going to determine the shape of your next stem, pretty much.
And this water droplet, pure
Yeah.
accident.
It's beautiful.
I moved my brush.
What is it? Show us.
That was a happy accident.
I was just actually really happy that it landed on the leaf and not in the middle of my paper.
So this is her water drop. That worked out perfectly.
This woman's a genius.
It could have totally messed everything up.
Okay, so I'm going to do my stem. I'm going to have it kind of go down and up. So it's a thin line. I'm going to connect it to my leaves, and then it's going to go like out that way.
Almost got another water
Oh.
droplet.
Yeah, those water droplets will get you. Oh, that's pretty.
That's what I just said.
I love that. Here, I'll put that over here.
Oh, okay.
She'd like a drop of like golden brown or something over here, and it's a really lovely yellow tinge on her leaf. Okay, and then this next leaf I'm going to add a little blue to it. And this one is going to kind of go out to the bottom left and down, kind of this way. And remember, you can change the shape of your leaves even after you lay it down. Like I'm like, oh, I want that to be bigger. Okay, you just make it bigger. You can't make it smaller. That's the only thing you can't do. And then I'm going to do some water droplets. And then I'm going to kind of have a leaf come out as if it were coming off, like if the painting were going to keep going outside of my paper and this leaf was to come out this way.
Just like the top half of it?
Yeah, so just like the top half of it coming off your paper. Yep. And then I'm going to do a similar leaf that we did on our flower. I'm going to do just a tiny little leaf off to the left side, similar to this, but just smaller over here. And then my orange is going to go behind these right here. So I'm going to run out of room on my paper too, so this next stem I would just start over instead of to the side. We're going to be flexible here. Ooh, that's cool. That looks great.
So sorry, we're
Yeah.
gonna do like a little.
Yeah, just a little baby leaf. Little baby.
What do you want me, Jay?
They were talking about some stuff up there, some cool things.
Which one?
Mom's special job.
Look how cool this leaf is right here. I love the colors.
Pure accident.
Made it a jungle.
It's happy accidents.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice. Yeah. Okay. Now we're gonna do our orange.
Wait, little one down here?
Yeah, just a little,
I'm behind,
a
sorry.
little. No. Just a little baby.
Okay.
Right there. Okay, now we're gonna do our orange. And you have to be careful because we're kind of working around two leaves here. So just leave a little bit of white space.
And where would you put my orange if you were to have my paper with
If-
the leaves on the bottom?
If I were to have yours here, I would do an orange down here still, but just have it go off the paper.
Oh, okay.
So just like have it go this way, like that.
All right. Half an orange.
Half an orange.
I'm gonna go switch my water because I get carried away with the paint.
Okay.
Water time. It's actually 1 hour, so.
Okay. Then let's switch waters.
Like this? Like just where it's like
Yep.
falling
Just
off
going
the
off.
paper?
Yep. Oh, I took your water there. Okay. So I'm going to do my orange. Try and start with the bottom first because that's going to be our darkest part. And then just use clean water to shape the rest of it. Now the hardest part about that is sometimes your orange is not going to meet your branch. Like mine did not meet that. So I can either make my orange bigger or I can just make my branch go down to meet my orange. It's up to you. I think I'm going to do a little bit of both. Don't forget to put in your shadow.
My shadow's down here on the bottom. I'm just
Don't put a shadow in yours, but I would lift a little bit of color out for a highlight right there.
I can do that. I can lift.
Picked a bad spot.
That's a little pear-shaped.
Okay, so you can just rework it. And what you would do, I'm going to move this over here so everyone can see. Because sometimes you paint a circle and you're like, that's not a circle. So, so all you have to do is you're just going to like mimic the shape of a circle and work your way around it. So I'm like, okay, if this is a circle, this is actually going to continue down this way here. As I go back here, this is actually going to round out here. So you just kind of like follow this shape and then adjust any lines that aren't doing that circular shape that you want. Okay. So for yours, what I would do is I would actually connect a stem kind of coming out right here, because the middle of your orange is not here, it's over there. So we're gonna like connect that guy over there.
And what about mine? Would you connect it anywhere, or?
For yours, yeah, you can maybe do another stem here, or even if you wanted to do another leaf coming out right here, okay, you can do that.
I think I'll go for the leaf.
Okay. And this next stem that I did, I didn't do any oranges on this one. I kind of just did a bunch of leaves after each other, so that's what we're going to do. We're just going to, and when this, what?
Yeah, Raven's on, our cousin.
Oh, hi, cousin. Not my cousin.
She is dying over these oranges. Hard eyes, happy hands, emoji.
Sounds right.
Okay, so for my next set of leaves,
So should I make this one go behind it like that?
I would have it go in front.
Go in front.
Yeah.
It's too big around my little tiny leaf, but that's okay.
No, I think it looks really great. You're being really hard on yourself, Misty, because it's looking beautiful.
I
It
still like
looks
it.
beautiful.
I still like it a lot.
This leaf color you got right here is really great.
I'm real happy with that.
Good. Okay.
Don't know what I did.
So this stem is going to come up kind of going this way. We don't want it to go straight up. So avoid that. So don't have your stem leaf be like, because that just looks weird in composition. So I had mine kind of coming up out to the side. And you're just going to start with your first leaf here. Go on that. I'm going to drop in some blue. Sorry, Jenny. Cut you off there. And then I'm going to do my stem. And it's going to go down and out to the side. And that way it's not like something standing straight up in the middle of our painting, because that would distract us, our eye, as we were looking at it later. And then I'm just going to do big leaves off of that.
All of my
Big.
leaves are big.
That's good. You're really embracing this. It's good. Because if anything, most people want to work really small when they first start, because they're not used to making marks on paper. You know what I mean? So they're like, I'll just do a little one right here, because then, you know. No, not here.
That will not do.
We go big.
Or go home.
Go big or go home.
And we hate going home.
And we don't go home. Man, me and you are really going through this green. Okay. And then I want it to be pretty full, so I'm almost doing leaves on top of each other. So I'm just kind of doing leaves. I'm going to do, I think, a little flower will fit perfectly right in here. So I'm just going to do a little stem to remind me that that's what I'm doing with that. And then I want my next leaf to kind of curve down because that's following the shape of what where my stem is going. And you can see it, like, you're going to make little mistakes like this where my leaf went a little bit over the side of my stem so it sticks out a little bit. That's okay. Because when this is all done, you're not going to notice those kinds of things. I mean, you might, but somebody else might not. And that's the stuff we got to let go, is just those tiny little mistakes that nobody can see.
Turn it into another branch.
Yeah, turn it into something else. Or leave it, or, you know.
A bird.
There.
I love it. I love it so much.
It's not a leaf, it's a bird.
That's a bird. It's a little baby bird, right?
Amazing.
Oh, that was so great. And
That was awesome.
There's like a little toucan on Mom's.
she just starts painting birds.
So good.
And then for this, don't be afraid. This is still going to have leaves on the right-hand side. Yes, we have an orange there. That's okay. Paint your leaves behind the orange. So I'm just going to start it. And it's going to go that way. And I'll do another one going over this way. Kind of behind and around it. So don't leave that area blank just because there's an orange there. Because that's not what happens in real life, you know what I mean? Just goes behind it. Mm-hmm. So true. I'm going to do my little blossom.
And how are you doing the blossom again?
Yeah, we're gonna have a blossom.
So for
Reminder, 'cause I didn't get to
blossom,
do that one.
the blossom is just like the lightest color of, I used golden brown for that. So it's just going to be barely there. And I know it looks really yellow, but when you step back, it's going to come across as like almost a white because it's watercolor. So if you have black at home, you can make it like a light gray. That works too. But I use just the golden brown to lighten it up. And it's going to be like, that's okay. You can just lift that up. So you just kind of blend it out and lift it up.
Not even a thing.
So she started to paint her flower, but there was still green on her brush, so there was like a green drop.
I
And we
kind of
just
like the green. I got green on mine.
on your flower?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a bird, Mom.
It was a bright green though.
It's a great bird.
Okay. And then I'm going to add just a little baby leaf over here in the upper left. If you have room for a bloom over there, put a bloom there. If not, that's okay too. I like this project because, and this is where they're a little bit more hard, but I think that you learn more because it's kind of like freedom. You put a leaf where you want to put a leaf, you know?
Wait, audio, Jay? Is the mic dead?
Yeah, it's off.
Try that. Can you talk?
There you go.
There, is that better? Can they hear me?
Sing some of The Greatest Showman so we know.
Oh, how does that? My daughter's obsessed with a million. How does that song go?
Million. Erica's got it.
Da-na-na-na-na-na-na.
Oh yeah, the mic's working.
We're good? Okay, then we're going to move on to the next one, if you're ready.
Wait, another. I'm way behind. Okay, it's all right.
That's okay. You just got to paint faster. Or just take your time, and you can always just.
One of the things,
Yeah.
one of the things I'm wondering on is my leaves tend to be kind of all the same shade. Should we be making sure they're lighter toward the top
So what
of
I
our leaves? Where's the sun coming from? Where's the light coming
For
from?
me, when I do my leaves, I'm not necessarily looking at where the light source is as I would if I were looking at an animal. They're a little bit more free. So I tend to like to have where the leaf meets the stem and the very tip of my leaf darker. That's where I like to do in a little extra color. But it doesn't have to be that way. Most of the time. Most of the time I just, oh, you're just taking the cable out. Most of the time I just do water droplets in them, and that should be enough to make its own variation.
Okay.
You didn't. Oh, that still looks really good, Misty.
Got way too much golden brown in there.
I'm trying to get more brown in mine.
Okay. Okay, so we're going to do... Thank you. So I'm going to do my next. And when I do my leaves, I like to start with the... I'm going to... How do I describe this? I know I'm going to put my orange here. Okay, so I'm going to work around that. So I'm going to imagine that my orange is here. And it might come off a little bit of my paper. If you need to move yours up, I might have, for you, have a stem come like this way and have your orange come right here.
Okay.
So I'm going to do the leaf that's going to go in front of my orange first. So if my orange is here, my leaf is going to be coming out here. So I'm going to fill that in.
And where would my stem be here?
Yeah, so you can have your stem come up.
Because I kind of want a little bit more orange because I've only got a half of one here.
So then what you can do is you can have your stem come out this way and then put a whole orange right here.
Okay.
Did not work out well for me.
Okay, yeah.
I still think that's pretty.
Did we, which
So
way is your,
you can either do, here, I'm going to move your paper in case, because you're running into the same problem as Jenny. So you can either have your stem come out up here, like going this way, and do an orange here, or you can have it down this way and do an orange here.
okay.
Whichever you prefer. But try and get an orange in this. If you can. If it comes off your paper a little bit, that's okay.
All right. So is this a stem then? So then where's my leaf go?
So I would have a leaf come out this way then. Like here, you
Okay.
can do a little, that's
right.
where it has to be. And then you can do leaves coming out this way too.
Okay.
I'll do a quick check-in.
Yeah.
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 This right.
Okay.
I'm super behind still, but
No, you're not that. You're like a leaf behind.
all right. I'm trying to catch up.
Should be your motto in life. Only a leaf behind.
Only a leaf behind.
Okay, so here's Misty. She's getting some amazing colors on her leaf. I can tell she's having tons of fun with playing with that and getting some blues and some really nice dark greens in there. I love the shadows of her oranges, and her stems are nice and thin. So that's looking really good. She's stressing about this flower, but I think it's cool. So don't worry about that. If anything, I would wait till it dries and just make that leaf a little bit darker
That's
so you
what I
can
was
tell it's a
thinking.
leaf. And then I think it's good to go.
Awesome.
And then down here, maybe do a bigger leaf, kind of like
To
that.
match that.
Mhm.
Awesome. Thanks.
You're welcome. Okay, so for Erica, she has some nice big leaves here. They're looking good. I love the color that you got on this and here too. Just suggestions, the next time you do some leaves, maybe do some water droplets in there, just so we get some color variation, because this is looking kind of even.
Can she still do it on those?
You can still do it, but you just have to re-wet it. So if you
The
want
whole
to,
thing.
yeah, so what you would do is you would just take a damp brush and go over it so it's wet, and then drop it in. That. So you can still do it on your other leaves too. You just have to re-wet
Get
the
it wet.
entire thing and then drop it in.
Thank you.
Okay, so for Jenny that we have going on here, she has some great water textures. I'm so in love with this leaf that happened right here. Her oranges are looking good, and I think her flowers are really nice with this touch of brown and yellow right at the bottom here. She's gonna put an orange in over here. I think that's gonna look nice. If anything, I would let some of the spots on your leaves be a little bit darker. So either like at the stem, but on a couple of them, they are looking a little bit even in washes. So don't be afraid to even now while it's wet, you can just drop in just some dark here and there and just let that kind of move around. Okay, they're looking good. And they're all so different, and I love that. So next I'm going to do my stem. I'm going to kind of have it come kind of more up and out. And then I'm just going to start adding my leaves with the intention of putting my orange right there still.
Should I then add another stem up this way, or how should I do that?
Just when we do our next stem, I would have it go down, and you can
Okay.
do your orange there. But just pay attention.
Should I start with my orange then?
Yeah, I would start putting in your orange on the bottom there.
Where are we wanting the orange to go? Do we have like a kind
The
of
only
at the very bottom?
the only thing with your oranges is you just want to make sure that they are not totally in line with each other.
Okay.
So this one starts here, so I'm going to make sure, like if I were to go horizontal across, that my next orange is going to be either higher or lower.
Okay.
And then also for the same thing up and down. So this one is a little bit to the right. If they are on top of each other, that's okay, but that's just something to keep in mind composition-wise. If you're not sure, you just don't want them to be in completely straight lines because that's going to catch your eye.
Okay.
And we don't, and not in a good way, you know what I'm saying? And then you can also have your leaves go in different directions. So I have two leaves that are kind of going up and out. My next one I'm going to have going kind of more down. And you can just paint right over what you already put down. So keep that in mind too, because maybe your leaves are going too much in the same direction that it's looking a little too even and perfect. When that happens, just throw in a wonky one going in a different direction. Because that's how leaves are on trees. They go to the right, they go to the left, they go everywhere. Was that a...
Well, I'm just bleeding.
Oh, that's okay. It might bleed a little bit. Then this orange looks really great. It's looking good. Okay, now I'm going to put my orange in. So sometimes when I do my orange, I'll just do a nice even wash, a really light one, and then I build on top of that. So wherever my highlight is, I'm not going to touch that, and I add layers on top of my orange. It's like almost the opposite of what the other way, and there's either way is just fine.
What'd other way?
So the other way is we put the dark color first and then we just blend it out, and that was our highlight. With this one, I put the really light wash first and then just added layers on top of that. And as you paint more, you'll figure out like what feels best to you. Usually the first way that I taught is how I usually do it. But as my grandma would say, there's more than one way to skin a cat. And I want to give you guys options.
Only grandmas say that.
I know. I love my grandma.
Is she a cat skinner?
She is, yes. She's from Canada, so I don't know actually. Maybe they skin cats.
More
I don't know.
beavers. More than one way to skin a beaver.
Raccoons.
More than one way to skin a beaver.
I don't know that saying.
The beaver saying or the cat saying?
You know that age-old trope. More than one
he's
way to
talking about
skin
the
a
beaver.
beaver.
Is she a cat skinner?
And if you want to use your little toothbrush for the little leaves, you're welcome to do that. I'm going to make a little baby stem coming off this way and do little leaves. Now you can use your brush, your 6 for this too, but sometimes it's easier with the smaller brush to do those tiny little lines.
I made like terrible leaves right here. I'm just not sure.
Oh.
Look at this one. He's like a bent.
Oh, the oath. The oath.
Okay, yeah. First the oath. And this leaf you're just not sure about?
Well, it doesn't. It just kind of looks like a bent peanut.
So what I would do, I see what you're saying.
You a peanut
Or like a
bender?
pea pod or something. Okay, let this dry.
Yeah.
I can't paint in
And then what I would do is I would do another leaf on top of here and cover this up and have it go bigger on into this
Oh,
one.
okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So then that way it
All
doesn't
right.
look like it's connected.
All right. I
All
can do
right. Problem solved.
that. Problem solved.
Are there any other bent peanuts out there? Comment in the description.
Anybody else have a bent
Smash
peanut?
that like button if you bent peanuts. Because
Smash that like button. If you
Yeah.
if you have a bent peanut going on.
Misty's bending peanuts.
Come on. You got to call them as you see them.
I mean, I'm not.
is she a cat skinner?
Is she a cat skinner? Okay.
Then you're just doing one more orange up there?
Yeah, we're just gonna do another orange. I mean I might put a bottom one right here, but it's just gonna be one bigger stem, and then these are like smaller stems that are coming off near the top here.
That's why we follow you. If it was me, I would just put a sun up in that corner.
Oh yeah.
With some spiky edges.
Do you remember when you were little and you did the sun?
That was 2 years
I was
ago.
gonna say that was like.
Oh, I'm
2
sorry.
days
I'm
ago.
sorry. At any stage, you did that, and you thought that it was like, oh yeah, look at
Here,
that.
pull that down.
Yeah, I can't see it. Hold down a little bit.
Yeah.
There you go.
There we
There's the
go.
sun. That's how
Did
it
you guys
works.
do alternating?
Oh,
No,
yeah.
never. I never alternated. It was just one.
Oh, it was
Oh,
just
yeah.
one?
I did some alternating.
Jake was very artistic with the
visionary.
Oh, wow,
alternating.
that just looks like a hairy.
Yeah, the other way was way more sun-like. Okay, sorry. Got excited
This will
there.
look better with more oranges there. I'm glad you're doing it.
You mean you don't want to put the spiky sun there anymore?
Nope.
Okay.
So on this right here,
Yeah.
before I get brave and oh, this is still kind of wet. I probably should wait.
I
till
would
that
wait.
dries. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, and then so I'm gonna put my orange like here because I don't want it to be in line with this one that I have down here, and I don't want it to be in line with this one that I have over here.
Okay.
So it's gonna go in this area. So I'm gonna do my leaf that's gonna go over it right here. And the leaf placement is also kind of like a reminder of where I'm going to put my orange. It almost like holds the mark for me. That's fine. You're just putting in leaves and oranges and stems.
Ooh, that's a fatty.
That's okay.
How did you get so much detail in your flower?
So
How did my flower turn into that? I just noticed it.
all of it is just letting it bleed and go. So I get my light wash and I do my flower shape just like that. And then I take a little bit of the golden brown and just drop it at the tip and let that bleed out. Yep. And then what you want for your leaves is you want them to be even lighter than this. And so to make something lighter, you just got to add more water to it. So this is her flower here. And when we do our blossoms, we want them to be like barely there. And so I'm just going to pick up some of this color. So to pick up color, you just take a brush with clean water and lift and then pat it on your paper towel.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, just erase it.
Like lightly erases it, and then you can do that from there. Just like that. And then I would do maybe a little drop of the golden brown at the tip.
With this one, how it kind of like dried as a shape, is there anything to be done about that?
Yeah, so you can, so this flower, she did it, she doesn't love the shape, but it's dry. You can still work it, just get a damp brush and just move the color around. So I'm like, okay, I actually want this to be more rounded over here. So you're just gonna like blend, like smear it around and then move it. Now, if it's dried too much, then the line is not gonna move a ton, but it might move a little. And with a little bit of like other color, we can kind of change the shape of where it was going. But try and finagle with it while it's still wet, just because it's easier to shape.
I see.
And when you do leaves on top of each other, remember you can just paint right on top of them. That's not a huge, ooh, got my heel in that, heel of my hand.
You say your hand's turning pink?
No, that happened to somebody else I know. And I'm actually going to, put my orange in, and I'm just going to work around these leaves that I have going.
Erica, do you know Candy Roberts?
I do not.
Real sweet lady. She's from the Carolinas, I thought maybe.
Oh, no, I don't think I do.
You mean you don't know everybody that came from the Carolinas?
You know? Yes, so I do.
Okay, so I put my orange in, but the shape is a bit wonky, so I'm just going to like do that trick where I'm like, okay, a circle, that's okay. I think it looks a little flat on this side, so I'm going to round it out over here. There, that looks better. Then I'm going to put my shadow in. How are you guys doing over there? They're looking good.
Okay.
Yeah, it's looking good. And then I would do like a leaf coming up like over here. And then I would have a leaf coming down over here.
Okay.
So like let's pretend that this stem continues off of our page and there's a leaf coming off over here, and that way we'll fill in this that corner right there.
Man, I keep going out of the lines.
Ew.
That's
I
okay.
know.
I had
My
this,
orange started off as tiny and now it's like a boulder.
mine got pretty big too, but I'm gonna just say that's just a ripe orange, ready for eating.
I think I've gasped more in this class than I have previously.
I think you have too.
What do you mean, Mom? Are you surprised?
No, I just, well, I'm maybe I'm feeling a little braver, and then I like to do something weird because I'm like taking a chance, you know? I'm like,
Just dropped a big old drop of green.
Make it a leaf.
Make it a leaf.
Okay.
Make it a bird.
Make it a bird.
Bend that peanut.
my gosh.
It's going on a t-shirt.
Bend that peanut.
Got a rogue leaf. It's gonna be fine.
A rogue
Here,
leaf.
I'm gonna do one on my side too, okay?
Awesome.
Look, the cool
Thanks.
kids have
Look, the cools have just a random
Solidarity.
leaf coming out on this side.
I like it.
And the great thing about this project is it's like, that's fine.
Yeah.
It's not, you can't even tell that it's a rogue leaf. You know?
All right, now I've got to figure out how do I link my orange to the rest of the painting,
Okay.
because it's like this,
My leaf had to have a
like
little.
this tennis ball in the middle of.
It's a
My
throne
leaf had to
orange.
have a little.
So, I mean, I don't think it's
Or
that big
perfect.
compared to the other ones. It's big compared to this one, but so is mine. So, what I would do, so let's pretend this stem is going to keep coming right here. So this is where your stem is going to come. And then if you want to do another leaf that comes down here, like it's coming out on the other side of the stem behind the orange, you can connect it that way. Or you can have leaves coming out this way over here too. But I think that we just need to put some leaves in this area to connect these together.
Okay, so I should put a small stem out here to the orange, like this way. This way, around here.
Yeah. But you don't have to show that whole thing. So remember how we're using that like imaginary line? So if this is where our original stem starts,
Just do it.
okay. Paint it now.
Just show me.
Dance for me.
Okay. So if this is our stem coming out this way, I'm going to imagine that it's going behind the leaf
Do it.
and then coming out over here.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
See what I'm
Okay.
saying?
I didn't get that at all.
Well, now,
So then over here, then I'm going to have some more leaves that come off of here, or are they coming out this way?
you can do either or, whatever you would prefer. I would
Just paint it. No, I'm just kidding.
just start painting on this one, please. I would probably have leaves coming out this way, and then I would also have a leaf coming off behind on this side, coming down behind my orange.
Okay.
And
let me
maybe
try that
even
one.
a little baby one coming on top over here.
Okay, let me try that.
'Kay.
All right. So
Yes.
so my leaf is gonna just come out like this.
As if, like almost how on this one, you see how this leaf is coming out behind, but pretend that this top of the leaf is actually meets right at the top of the orange. Does that make sense?
So come like this.
Yep.
All right. So I'm just like drawing this one out like
Yep.
this,
Yep.
and then out like over here,
Yep.
maybe.
Yep. Yep.
My leaf just went from green to blue.
That's all right. I have some random blue leaves in mine. Right there. one over the opposite direction. Yeah, and then I would do another leaf. Like either a tiny one coming up over here or one coming up over here. Does that make sense?
On top of it?
Yeah.
Okay.
On top over it.
On top of Old Orange.
And in this painting, it's good to kind of like assess and see, okay, where do I have blank spots? What areas are distracting me? That kind of thing. So for me, you are going to have a blank area in the center. That's okay. Don't stress about that too much. We have it in the original here. That's just going to happen because we're doing it more on the sides. But like my left side over here, I feel like is feeling a little plain. So I'm going to do a rogue leaf like I did on the right side. I'm going to do that over here. So it's not just this strong white edge. So I don't think you guys are having that problem. I think that was just me. So don't feel like you have to add this if you don't have that problem.
I feel like I have that problem.
I love how big your leaves are.
These are brave leaves.
These
right
are
here.
brave leaves. That's how you know you're being brave, is when you just are painting big. That's when it's fun.
Would you say it's darker at the place that the orange connects to the stem or lighter?
As a general rule, I usually have the light source at the top of the orange, so it's the
Even
highlight.
if the stem's going to be down here?
Well, the thing is, gravitation-wise, because of gravity, the orange would not be on top of the stem. Does that make
So
sense?
I'll just have to have
Gravitation.
imaginary.
So because of physics,
Yes.
so what I would do
Science.
for yours, science, what I would do for
Just
yours
start one up.
is I would have another stem come up this way.
Gravitation.
That's a word, okay? No, it's not. Okay, have it come up this way. Oh, you're gonna make that green there. And then have this be like another, so it's like two stems. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then have leaves coming out here, and then do another leaf over here. Does that make
Okay.
sense? And then that way your orange will make sense in earth.
In Earth.
In earth, because we have gravity.
I think I'm gonna have the same problem because I need an orange like up here.
You can do an orange here, and then
it's gonna be
do,
right next to that one.
well, maybe
Like in here?
or
Okay.
make your stem longer and
Okay.
do one like here. And then you can have the top. I'm going to add a bottom of an orange
Up there.
on the top of my painting, kind of like here. So I'm just putting the bottom of an orange in. Now I'm not going to have a stem coming off of this, because if the painting were to continue off the paper, then the stem would actually be up here, because this is the bottom of the orange. And the oranges hang off of stems.
Speaking gravitational.
Gravitationally wise,
I mean, my oranges defy gravity.
your oranges, wow, mine don't. So that one, yeah, that one kind of turned into like a rogue orange. But that's okay, because of this painting, that makes sense still. Because it's just a bunch of leaves and oranges. And now I switched to a 10. So don't feel like you have to stick with the same size brush the whole time. You're welcome to switch it around. I just wanted my leaves to be a little bit bigger, and it's easier to do larger spaces with a 10 than it is with like a 2.
mesmerized.
I think we're all mesmerized. We're like all
Yeah.
focused and quiet right now. They're looking good. And I just put a flower down. It was a little strong and washed, but it's still wet, so I can just take my paper towel. And I wouldn't even add color to that. That's a nice light wash. That's good. Looking good.
What about this up here? Do I need to?
Yeah, I would maybe do like leaves coming out this way here.
Okay, like half leaves.
Yeah, like they're coming, yep, off. That's what I'm doing kind of in my upper right hand corner too. I'm going to add some leaves over here.
Part of the reason mine are so big is because I keep messing up. So
Great
I'm just
question,
continue to
audience.
make it bigger.
Can you have too many leaves?
Okay, wait 1 second. Can you have too many leaves in this painting? No. I don't think so. I could even probably go in on both of these and even add more leaves to this. Sometimes I think the more leaves, almost the better, because then it just makes it look more full, and then those like blank spaces you don't notice as much because they're nice full with leaves. So really go crazy on the leaves. Have at it. Okay, what were you saying, Erica?
Oh, I was just saying part of the reason my leaves are so big is because I have to make them bigger as I accidentally go outside of the line. Okay, make it a little bigger.
That's all right.
Start as pickles.
Can we get some more green?
Yeah.
I feel like mine's getting kind of weak. Thank you.
So don't forget those little water droplets or color droplets to get those different colors going on. And then I think I'm going to add that looks good. How do you feel? Is anything bothering you?
I just always worry if there's empty space. It's like, should I put something in here? And yet I don't want to clutter it up with too much.
If any, I think the only thing that you would need is I feel like you need a leaf coming off this stem, because you have a bunch of, here, I'm going to move this over so they can see what we're talking about. So this is her painting, and I think it looks great. I love how large her oranges are. The only space that's really throwing me off is right here. So you can either do a leaf coming like out this way, a leaf coming out this way, but I just feel like this area needs to be addressed. So either have it coming off of the stem out, or like a rogue leaf coming this way.
That looks good.
gorgeous.
Thank you.
And the nice thing with the little blossoms is if you need something else there besides a leaf and you don't have enough room for an orange, this is where the blossoms kind of come in handy. They're great filler space if you need something different besides the leaves.
I don't know why I'm whistling on top of Old Smoky.
Oh, I feel like that song did come up somehow.
I
How did
don't-
it come up?
I don't know, but
I
I'm
was
like,
thinking the same thing, but then I couldn't figure out how.
I don't know. Did I tell you guys how I stopped by Jenny's house and I was outside and I hear this whistling and I didn't see anybody and I thought it was a bird. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh my gosh, the birds here know songs. I'm like, this is for real.
these
A
Missouri
song?
birds are
I'm like,
amazing.
I wonder what type of bird this is. I was like standing there so amazed for a second, and then Jenny comes walking up her driveway whistling, and I was like, oh, it was you, not this.
I'm a whistler.
You are. You have great whistles. I am not.
Great whistling skills.
I am not good at whistling at all. Oh, that's good.
That's
Oh,
the
Hunger Game.
Yeah.
I know, but that was still a good
You have
whistle.
great whistles too.
Oh.
You have great whistles. Jake, can you whistle?
I do not
I
have
can
great
even whistle
whistles.
loud like mom.
He actually worked for a whole year to learn how to whistle.
I would just fake whistle with my finger. And then one day it actually worked.
It just worked
One day it
for
just worked,
All because
and you knew what to do from then on?
Jenny's wondering, are the kits available only online?
Kits are available only online as of now. We do have a storefront that's being built in Hamilton. So in like a month or so, you should be able to go to our store and also get the kits. But for now, they're just on letsmakeart.com.
It would be super cool if you, even if one night, if like we could show the progression of that building, how it's going along.
We'll do a paint along in
In
the building.
the building.
No.
It's actually really cool looking. I love these old
Gonna be
buildings.
I do
awesome,
too.
yeah.
Alright, how you guys looking?
Yeah, how are you guys feeling about it?
This orange is a little lopsided.
Just round that sucker out. That's looking good. Okay. I feel good about mine. I feel like I need one big leaf over here. And then I think it'll be okay. Maybe I'll do another little. And the nice thing with like stems and leaves is you can just add on to it and be like, you know what? I want another stem coming out this way. And then it's like, bam, it's there. Bam.
Bam.
Leaf.
Oh, do we have more of that golden brown?
Oh,
Mine
yes, we
altered
do.
Some form of green.
Should I worry about this?
That's probably.
Should I clean up this edge right here where it kind of bleeds over?
I wouldn't.
That was definitely me.
I would just let that be.
Let it
be.
Let it be.
I knew that was so good. I knew that was going to happen, and I was really excited about it.
There goes our copyright claim.
Dang it.
Facebook's pulling the video down.
When I was dating, I used to try, one of my favorite dates was trying to sing into Shazam and get it to recognize the song.
That was your whole date?
And get it
It was
wet.
like a beginning or an end. It took
That
me
was a
while to
date
get there.
activity you would do, is sing into
You try and get,
Shazam.
like, just the vocal part.
Oh,
I have
bless
never
Drea.
tried that before, but
You gotta think, where do they not use instruments?
Oh my god.
And everybody wondered why it took
Why
so
is
long.
it so long? We love Drea. She's a saint.
What was so right?
Wait, I don't even know what you're talking about. I don't know what sing into Shazam means.
So Shazam is an app where, let's say you're like listening to the radio and you're like, oh, I really like this song, but I don't know where it is or how to look it up.
Wait a second. I thought Shazam was like a Shaquille O'Neal character.
Oh yeah, that's also.
I thought
It
Shazam
is
was our
also a
bank.
Shaquille O'Neal character. But you you press the Shazam button and it listens to it and it tells you what song it is.
Oh, I see.
So if you're good at singing,
Yeah.
it would
I am
recognize.
0 for 1,000.
Oh, for a
I have no doubt.
It's my mother.
I think I'm going to do a rogue leaf over here. Coming out this way. All the leaves. All the leaves.
Shazam it, quick.
Is that even a song though? You know?
You just made it one.
Is that even a song?
Because it's not going to pop up if it's not a song.
I'm feeling pretty good about these.
It looks so good.
All right, let's see.
Okay.
Do it. Do it.
Let's do it. Might not all be done. Dawn.
It might not all be dawn.
We might not all be done.
All be
But
dawn.
we're going to hold them up and see.
Alright.
I think they're fabulous. Okay. I hope mine won't drip. Hold on. Let me suck up some of this.
I know, me too. I have a little
There we go.
dripper right here.
Oh, wait, one more.
This flower's little.
Yep, blow on it.
There we go.
Blow it dry.
Blow it dry really quick. Okay.
Kind of slight angle. Yeah.
There we go. They look so
There
good.
you go.
Wait, turn yours to me. So. Okay, wait. Okay, turn back to the camera. Back to the camera.
They look so good.
I have to say it. I wasn't super excited about doing this, but it's really been fun.
I'm glad you liked it.
That's
Just-
how most of my dates ended.
Just remember that when you're doing those oranges, try and have that low light on the bottom, medium, and then a highlight on the top. And that is really, and I think you handled this really beautifully on your oranges. That's why they have such great form, because we put those shadows and lights on there. And that's really
The
what's going to
teacher
give your
held
orange.
up my picture. Mine, yeah.
Yours.
Love
That's amazing. That's never happened before.
Okay. If you paint along with us, either live or later, still post your work. We would love to see it. You can either just post it in the comments that we've been doing on Facebook, which I love because then everybody else can see it. You can put it on Instagram, hashtag, Orange Blossoms?
Orange blossom.
Hashtag Orange Blossoms is the name of the project, or hashtag Let's Make Art, or you can tag us at Let's Go Make Art. That's our Instagram name. And next week, are you guys ready?
So cute.
We're doing our giraffe. So we have the outline on our website. If you didn't get our kit, the outline should be in with your kit. But if you don't have the kit, you can get the outline on our website. And we're going to do this guy. And I'm really excited. It's going to be fun. He's going to turn out great. I love painting giraffes.
Is that something you frequently do?
It's not, you know what? I paint more giraffes than you think. People love giraffes because they're great. Okay, is that it?
That's it.
We done?
Way to make art.
Thanks, everybody.
Good job. Bye. Thanks.
See you for the giraffe.